frequently interviewed in the international press, I'm asked repeatedly, why won't Israel exchange Palestinian prisoners in its jails for the hostages Hamas now holds? Fair exchange, people will say. 240 plus Israeli hostages for several thousand Palestinian prisoners. It's a fair exchange. Well, let's begin with the fact that Hamas doesn't really want an exchange. Hamas has held the bodies of two of our soldiers killed in 2014, almost a decade ago, and has been unwilling to exchange them. Hamas has held on to two of our citizens who wandered across the border and were captured. We haven't been able to secure their release after many, many years. It's not like Hamas is actually waiting for a hostage for prisoner exchange deal. And keep in mind, who are these prisoners? A great many of them have an immense amount of Israeli blood on their hands. These are people who have murdered hundreds of Israelis. And those Israelis had families. And you can imagine how those families would feel if the terrorists who murdered their son, their daughter, their father, their brother, their loved ones, imagine how Israelis would feel. What that would do for the national morale here if those terrorists were released. And what message would go out? What message would go out to all of our enemies, not just in Israel, but around the world, that if you capture Israelis, if you turn them into hostages, you could get anything you wanted from the state of Israel. And the message would go out not just about Israel, but about all of Israel's allies in the world. Capture a lot of Americans, people will give in. People will give in and release murderers. The best Israel can do is to move its troops into Gaza, to surround Hamas, to ensure that Hamas knows it cannot escape, and that the only way it might be able to escape would be to free the hostages, and those hostages have to be healthy and in good condition, or else Hamas simply will not have that bargaining card. Back in 1982, and I'm old enough to remember this because I was there, in Beirut, the Palestine Liberation Organization under Yasser Arafat was able to escape Beirut aboard boats that were negotiated and provided by various countries, escaped to Tunis. As far as I'm concerned, Hamas can escape to wherever the heck it wants to Algeria, to Libya, to some fittingly hellish place, but it can release our hostages at the same time. Now that's a deal that I think Israel could accept.
If you want to see more of Ambassador Michael Oren, click on the links up above. Be sure to subscribe, and if you want to ask a question for the ambassador to answer, comment down below.